You can't give what you don't have. When you are talking about integrity, you are really talking about the real person, who that person is.
When you talk of integrity, you talk of honesty. To be honest. And to be honest means to be trustworthy, to be truthful. And politics is science and art of government.
Politics is about the people.
Yes.
And if you talk about it in a deeper sense, it has to do with how people take decisions on how to lead themselves.
Border closure is a line separating two countries, administrative divisions, or other areas. In promoting made in Nigeria goods and encouraging the manufacturing and producing companies in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari gave an order in August 12 this year that all borders linking the country with neighboring countries should be closed in order for Nigeria to patronize made in Nigerian goods and also to checkmate security crisis in Nigeria. Good day, I am Smart Simon, and you're welcome to today's edition of Christians in Politics. And our focus is border closure and its effect to our economy. I have with me in the studio to discuss this topic Pastor John Ifejika, a political commentator and a businessman, and also the Venerable Joseph Onwaya JP, Director, Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria, and the Chaplain to the National Assembly. You're welcome, sirs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We want to start our discussion. First of all, what is your take? Let me start with the Venerable. What is your take on this very decision taken by the President, and possibly how effective has the closure to our economy?
Well, I will say generally, closing the border at this time is a good policy in itself. Whether the timing is correct is another issue.
Yeah.
Whether the palliative measures that are supposed to be put in place were put in place is another question. Whether we are ready internally for this closure is another question. Then talking about, because generally, when I say the policy is a good one in itself, is because it's intended to quicken our early industries within the country. It is meant to encourage producers within the country to double effort and to have a good market so that they can also earn something and develop their own companies. So to that extent, it can metamorphose into creation of jobs. It can metamorphose into boosting the economy. We can save some of our foreign reserves and so on and so forth. That is if it is well managed. It is not just to say close the border. The border is closed. What are you doing within the country to inject life into industries that are dead? That's another issue. So then talking about the effectiveness, in Nigeria, we always do our own things anyhow. Before this border was closed, what kind of sensitization was done? It's like myself as a venerable trying to proclaim a fast in my family. I want to proclaim a fast in my family to say we are going on 7 days dry fasting. Do you know it is intended to bring something good spiritually? Maybe there's a particular prayer point that is dear to our heart that we feel, okay, we need to get more closer to God because we just want to get through with this particular thing. Then, if I suddenly get up in the morning and my son is saying, I hear my son say, Mommy, I need to eat or I'm hungry. And I say, no. I've told your mother yesterday that throughout this week, no food in this house because it's a dry fasting. You know the way that child will feel. It will amount to punishment. But it's different when I sensitize them well enough to say, this is the problem we are having as a family. This is the prescription in the Bible. The Bible says this kind cannot go except through prayer and fasting. And to that extent, I want all of us to make this sacrifice to get this problem resolved. Everyone will be on the same page. I'm not too sure whether Nigerians were well sensitized enough. I didn't hear National Orientation Agency speak on this before the border was closed.
Those orientation agencies even exist.
Okay, they exist. I know their office is whether they, but they are there as if they are not there. Then since the border was closed till now, people have been complaining of hardship, this or that, grumbling. Oh, this government is. Who is speaking to the masses? Who is explaining to the people why this border has been closed and why it should remain closed for some time? Then, what are the palliative measures? There were some group of young women entrepreneurs who came on air to make a kind of a demand that this thing was not done the way it's supposed to be done, because as of today, Nigeria, even though, yes, the government has been making good effort in this farming issue, going back to agriculture, but the truth is that we have not yet gotten to the point where we are really self-sustaining, even in the matter of rice, which is very, very prominent among all others. Do you know the cost of a bag of rice today? Somebody was telling me yesterday that a bag of rice is now getting to 35,000. I'm yet to verify that.
Wow. Okay.
Then local rice, 20-something thousand. What is the wage? What they call minimum wage that Nigerian worker is clamoring for? We are talking about 30,000, and they are negotiating whether they can pay. And a cost of one bag of rice is now above that. So you see, there are ways you go about this thing. Ultimately, if we make sacrifice and everyone knows why this has to happen, yes, it will bring something good. According to Pastor Abel Damina, he said what is not painful is not gainful. So certainly we have to go through the pain to make things good. Right. But another angle is, can we trust the leaders that they will follow through the program?
Thank you so much. Let me come to you, sir, on the same question. What is your take on this decision and how effective it has been, maybe from the business point of view now?
Yeah, our economy is a struggling one. And when an economy is a struggling one, you don't just put on things. Though, when you look at it economically, a lot of things have been happening.
Okay.
The custom makes between 4.7 to 5.5 billion naira a day. That's because of this closure.
Yeah.
Yes. But when you look at the consumption rate of Nigeria, Nigeria consumes 6.7 million tons of rice annually. And we produce 3.7.
You see that?
That is different. About
So
half.
the production is half.
Yes. So you find out that normally prices have to be what? We increase. Because there are a lot of rebagging people are doing. The government had good intention, but the planning was very, very defective.
Okay.
If you look at the economic growth, by this time last year it was 2.1, but now it's just 1.9%. That is it. So you find out that things are going. Nigeria outside is becoming, our GDP is getting low because a lot of people in Nigeria are impoverished. And though we come out to say we are the largest economy in Africa, but inside we cannot feed the people inside, and people inside cannot buy things within the wage. Yeah. And the purpose of this, they are doing all these things so that they will close so many areas. And that is exactly what they are doing. But it's really making some people smile to bank on daily basis.
Okay.
Because they have other means of beating the whole thing. And so some individuals are getting richer while some are in trouble. So it's biting hard. It's biting hard because it's not every Nigerian now can do that. We have some qualities of rice, which some people are now rebagging as foreign rice. The rice they call CP, the long grain. Yeah, we have it in Abakaliki. Then Coscharis is producing one in Anambra. And then we have it in Lafia, Nasarawa area, and things like that. So people will buy, rebag in foreign bag as a foreign rice.
Yes.
So because we have really fallen, Nigeria will have borrowed from America, because what America does is they produce in excess. They now have Group A, which they put in the silo for consumption. Then Group B is what they send outside for commercial purposes. Then Group C, they burn, make it as cake, and put some nutrient and begin to drop in their ocean for fish there to their aquatic life and feed them and things like that. Yes. But we have not reached that stage.
Countries have gone far,
yes.
far.
So if we can feed ourselves, if we are assuming we are producing 10 million tons, metric tons of rice a year, then we are comfortable, we can close our border and things like that. So, but this, we are under what we are consuming. So it's a big problem.
Wow. So. Okay. Thank you so much. Venerable sir, the chairman of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria stated in a press conference that there are some companies that manufacture locally, but their products are meant for export. Yet they pay interest on loan, they also pay tax, and workers without sales. What is your thought on what you just said?
You know, that is what we said. Before you begin to implement a policy, you have to really do a proper survey and know the pros and cons of it. For me now, that is very simple. Instead of total, what that one means is that instead of this total border closure, what those people are saying indirectly is that export should have been allowed. While you are blocking import, you should have allowed
people
who wants to package their goods and export to continue to do so, in order not to stifle the companies that are producing things that are to be exported. So I believe they didn't think it through. And you see, when you are experimenting a thing, you also listen. In the laboratory, you call it observation. You observe reactions and things, then you have a control and know exactly where to stop, where to make adjustment, and so on and so forth. I'm not too sure that is being done. There may be, but I'm not too sure that such is being done. Who is harvesting all these opinions of stakeholders?
Yeah, the Vox Pop.
Yes, stakeholders. He is a businessman. If he's talking about this issue, I expect that somebody on the policy making side
should listen. Most of the times they don't.
That is something. So that is where we always miss it. Inability to harvest, ideas, sieve it, and use it for the betterment of our life. So I know that many companies are going to go under the waters because of this. And unfortunately, when a company is run down, to get it up, it's not a joke. I know of a particular member of my parish today who is in big trouble. When I say big trouble, is in big trouble. It took $500 million from bank to buy a company from one foreign company, and in one part of the country. And as soon as he was about to take off with his production, there was a policy by government that stopped the NNPC from releasing the product that will be used in that very company to individual companies.
Wow.
That has ruined the man. For the past 3 years, the man is in trouble. In fact, he has run away from that very time entirely now. Because as of today, the last time he told me, he said he's now owing the bank whether 3.something billion. Because the interest is built for the past 3-4 years now. The interest is building up. So all the workers running it, almost 500 workers, all of them sacked because nothing is happening. They have no product to produce what they wanted to produce just because of one policy. And people are sending assassins, chasing him up and down because they believe he has taken money from them and is not ready to pay.
Okay.
So that is the situation.
Thank you so much, sir. In fact, one of the questions that is even running in my mind is that how well is our federal government patronizing locally made goods?
Okay.
In terms of cars, in terms of clothing, and what have you. The federal government themselves.
That's another aspect.
I know we have a local manufacturing car company in Nigeria. How well is our government buying from that company? And all of that. And then the second question would be, how well is the custom, how effective or how faithful are they in ensuring that this policy, this decision by the president is not just for some people, but for everybody, and it's not just for some part of the country, but for everybody. What do you think?
Sorry, sir, before you say, I just came from the National Assembly now. All the Jeeps, the brand new Jeeps you see there, you don't see Indosi Motor there. The Indosi have Jeep, 4-wheel runners?
Yes.
But no single one there. That is the question you are just raising.
That is the point.
Yeah, before I answer your question, in continuation of what he just said, I don't think that's Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, know how people transport their goods. You find out that there's a company called Unilever, which was former Lever Brothers. Lever Brothers and UAC, they were all one before, and their production line was in Port Sunlight, which is in Liverpool. But today, they have 2 production lines, one in Oregun, Ikeja, then another one in Apapa. Now, what they do, they have a kind of collaboration. We have Unilever, Côte d'Ivoire, Unilever in Ghana. There are certain products that they now ask Unilever in Nigeria here to produce for them, so as to have the same quality, instead of quality control. Now, there are ways where you can carry your goods. It's even cheaper to go through the ocean line. And they do that, they carry it, because if you look at from down the coastal area down to Senegal, it's a free something, and there, for your information, they speak the same language there. From Badagry language, it's called Egun language. So they speak that language, and 75% of people in Togo are Egun people. So they go through that channel and carry all those things. The government said something. Manufacturer Association want to a kind of defend one of these things. There are so many ways you can cargo your products and take it down, and this is exactly what these people have been doing. Then the ones coming from Côte d'Ivoire, there are something they manufacture. They feel that their plant in Ghana produces a better margarine than that of Nigeria. So they produce it there. Some of their cocoa butter, they produce it there and they bring it in that form. So all these things, they have a way of doing it. But the people that are suffering this are the individual manufacturers who are not heavy, who are not having a lot of money to go, because an individual will find it very difficult to move and things like that. Now, when you look at the whole supermarkets in Nigeria, go to all the supermarkets in Abuja here, go to Lagos and so on. All you see there are foreign products. And you see, they are all foreign products. If you want foreign rice, they will give it to you. So I believe that the customer failed us. So the border closure is just to punish the common man. It's the common man that is facing this. Because I know there are some people who even the clothes they wear, everything is coming from outside.
Yes, it's okay. And I'm beginning to think that it's more about working on our orientation for us to accept our locally made goods in the first place. Because a lot of Nigerians will prefer foreign-made goods than the one that is produced locally. And then, as we go on break, has the closure of border helped in reducing security crisis in Nigeria?
Maybe, you said when we come back from break, but before break, can I quickly chip this in?
Yes, sir.
When you're talking about preference for foreign goods, my brother, we also have to talk to ourselves. That's why I said enough orientation have not been done eternally. Why must I continue to put my money on, for instance, let's use this as an example. This is my belt. I remember how many belts I bought in 1 year. To 2,000 naira, to 2,000. If I buy the belt within less than a month, the thing is torn into pieces. I begin to wonder what kind of a thing is this. Now, my wife went to somewhere and saw them selling this maybe fairly used foreign.
Yes.
And she picked it. I have used it for 4 years. It still remains the same.
The same.
So if we are going to also close our border and say let's consume what we have,
We must have a quality production.
Think of standardization.
That's right.
There's an organization, is this a standard organization of Nigeria?
Thank you so
must
much.
Wake up.
We'll go on a short break, viewers, and when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. viewers, we are glad to know that you are still there. We want to continue our discussion on border closure and its effect on our economy. And we still have in the studio the Venerable Joseph Unuaya, JP, and Pastor John Efejika. And we want to continue our discussion. Before we went on break, I was asking us on how has the border closure helped in reducing security crisis in Nigeria. Let me start from you, then I will come to Pastor John.
Now, for me, I have not personally observed any effect, of the border closure on the state of insecurity in the country.
Okay.
Because things are still happening the way it has been. And by the way, you will know that the border closure, when we talk about border closure, it is the routes, the open routes that you can see, the roads where vehicles and all these things passing through that you see. Most of the criminals who have been infiltrating into this very country are not passing through those major roads. The porosity of our border is something that is so worrisome. We have such a land mass that is so large, and there's no wall anywhere preventing person from crossing to enter. Even when you go to, for instance, like Cotonou border, when I went there, I was surprised. It was just an electric pole, iron pole that was used to cross the road, and with the locky with padlock with custom sitting at the two end of it. That is the border now. So people
look so ordinary.
Look so ordinary. So you just
anybody can come.
I was really amazed. Is this the border we are talking about? Say yes. So they just use an iron to cross. The way you see they put iron across when you are entering some streets inside the town. That's all. So all the stretch of the border continuously around the whole country. What has been done to close them up?
Nothing.
Nothing really.
Nothing. So people can always find their way.
Any effect. In fact, government need to know that even criminality is being increased. I will explain to you.
Okay.
You close the border. There's serious hardship in the land. Many people's source of livelihood have been cut off by the closure of border now. Even though whether you say the businesses were not legitimate or whatever, however you want to look at it, but that is where the person
we have not produced the legitimate one.
There's no legitimate one as alternative for the person. If you tell somebody that is a smuggler, stop smuggling bag of rice into the country, if there's an alternative job to do, the person will pick it up. You see, whether it's smuggling, whether it's legitimate job, whether it is illegitimate job, the ultimate goal of all is food for the stomach. How to survive. That is the ultimate. But if you look at it from that angle, you see that petty stealing, robbery, people using knife to stab people to collect things from them is increasing by the day.
That's true.
If you take, for instance, the Mambuchi axis, the Maitama axis, where I live, I tell you, for the past 3 months, you need to see the rate at which this stealing, petty stealing, attacks here and there. Even the last one that was so funny to us, in fact, I have to laugh over that because you know that our small bridge, the small bridge the church constructed to my parish, we came overnight and made that people have come to cut the iron in the bridge to go and sell it.
Seriously?
Yes. So when I came out and every person were condemning who did this, I said, no, this shows that there's a hunger in the land.
It's serious.
Then the following week, people came into the church premise. You need to see this first they scale to steal plastic chairs. In the process of taking the plastic chair, one was hanging. When the security man sighted them and flashed torchlight, they ran. One of the plastic chair was left on top of the security, right? So hanging there. I mean, that for somebody to, an adult, to scale a fence to go and steal old plastic chair is something. Then the workers we brought to do iron in the compound, the following week, they complained that irons were missing. So we started looking for who stole this iron. Eventually, the security men were able to track one of the boys, and they said he came in within the week, and they didn't know that was what he came for. They invited the boy. The boy just owned up and confessed to it that I stole the irons. Why did you come to steal iron with which you people are supposed to be working for? He said, I'm hungry. I came that very day, and no cover, nothing. I did eat in the night before I went to bed, and I came. I meant that my Oga supervising the work have traveled. So I felt the only way to survive is to take those iron and go and sell it so that I can eat. Then I asked him, how much did you sell the iron? He said he took it and sold it 500 naira. 500 naira just to buy a plate of food. So to that extent, criminality is being increased. So that's why I said there must be palliative measures. There must be a way to manage these things so that we are not trying to solve one problem, then we create a bigger problem.
All right, sir. If we are trying to solve problem, we must do it in such a way that we won't create more problems. That is true. And sir, before you will say something on this, but I want to ask you the next question so that you will answer it together. With the passage of the increase in value-added tax bill by the Senate and non-putting to effect the new minimum wage payment by the federal government, considering the complaint on increase in prices of goods in the country, what do you have to say on the future of our country economy?
Yeah, 95% of our income comes from the crude oil. In 10 years' time, I doubt it if there will be anybody buying oil. Because right now we are having electric cars. And not
even
only
solar cars.
Yes, now even the electric cars, they have a place where you recharge, and it's done for free.
That's right.
It's done for free. As now, even Ford has even brought a car. They call it air on the air movement. If you load, you are traveling to Benin now, and you fill your tank with that vehicle. By the time you get to Gwagwalada, they will cut off the fuel, and it start moving. It start moving on the air. 2 bishops has it. I won't mention their names.
You hear that?
So it will cut off the fuel, so it will be going on the air. All this technology are coming up just to make sure that people don't consume fuel much. So with time, Nigeria will be in a big mess. That when all these things will start coming, nobody will buy our fuel and so on. The VAT we are talking, 15% goes to the federal government. The other 85% is for the state and local government. It's going to cause a lot of problem. It's going to dampen our economy because of our purchasing power. Now, when we are coming to a stage when you manufacture, and we decide that is it sugar, we can do without sugar. And when the manufacturer now brings what he has manufactured and people are not buying, it becomes a problem, even for the government itself. So people will say, no, is it for the hotel? 3 of us can stay in a room.
That's right.
Well, is it not for us to sleep, wake up, and go our business?
The case will be affected.
It will affect so many things in Nigeria. So that is this thing, and the effect will not speak well. People will revolt and things like that.
So it has not reduced any insecurity.
It's going to be a big problem for us.
All right. Now, Venerable Sir, let me bring it to you. Does the closure of the border has effect on the relationship with our neighboring countries around since this thing started? I know there has been clamoring from other countries that Nigerian border should be open. So what would you say on this?
Yes, certainly it has the serious effect on neighboring countries. no country is an island. And no country is an island. And this closure of borders, whether we like it or not, will affect Republic of Benin drastically.
That's right.
Because the level of export from Republic of Benin to Nigeria is so high. If you like it, we call it smuggling because it's not being done legitimately most of the times. But their economy is dependent on it, largely on it. So certainly it is going to affect you. If the closure continues for a very long time, it's going to certainly affect the relationship between Nigeria and other neighboring countries. There's also what they call they have a different trade protocol within the West African.
West Africa. I think they sign a part now.
Yes.
Where West African countries are allowed to move freely between them.
So with that, you discover that trade protocol is already being affected seriously, because when you assign your signature to any protocol, there's one they call Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. AFCFTA. Yes, African Continental Free Trade Agreement. It's already been affected by the closure of border. But the what is happening now is what they call a self-protectionism. You know, some countries do it to redeem certain things. That's why I say it's not completely a bad policy for us. You hear since Donald Trump came up in America, what he's saying is America first. Yes, he wants to relate with other people in the world, but not at the expense of the economy or the life in America. So to that extent, I say any policy that is made to protect us eternally, made to grow the economy eternally, and all that, meant to increase our external reserve, is good. And certainly it will affect some of these other protocols. That is why our Foreign Affairs Department must also sit up. When a thing like this is going on, there are departments that are meant to relate with all these other foreign countries to let them know what is happening. It's just like the issue of the herdsmen attack against farmers over these years that have cost a lot of lives in Nigeria. And many of our leaders have come out to say majority of them are foreigners. So why should we continue to open our border for foreigners to come and be mowing down the citizens? So these are issues that need to be put on the table with other countries to make them understand that certain decisions have to be taken, not because we hate them, not because we don't want them again, but because certain things have to be done. And so some policies have to be implemented. And for another angle to it is that which other foreign countries you also know is that this is not going to be a permanent something. But there's no country that can close her borders permanently.
That's right.
Because we cannot be an island. So it certainly it is for a season. And we solicit the cooperation of our foreign neighbors, let them understand that Nigeria as giant of Africa just have to do this to enable put some things in order within the country. Like the president says, this closure, especially this this western border, the main reason is to enable our security develop new security architecture that will enable them checkmate the smuggling that is coming into the country. So if that is the reason, then we expect the foreign nations to understand.
All right. Thank you so much, my venerable. Pastor, let me come to you, sir. What measures do you think the government should have put in place before giving this order of border closure?
Yeah, what the government will have done is that they will have gone for what I call troubleshooting.
Okay.
As the Foreign Affairs Department call all the ambassadors of the countries concerned and tell them that this is what we intend doing, and this is it. Then also ask our own ambassadors in those countries to go and confer with the authority of those nations that we want to do something like this. But he did not. Then we will have looked at what is our production of rice. What is our production? Because when you look at the tomato produced in Nigeria, you cannot use it for stew. I cook very well. You cannot use it for stew. So everybody will want to buy the imported one and things like that. That is the truth of the matter. That of Nigeria is watery. The standard is not there. Because in China, even in China where you have substandard, if you go to China, you say you want to buy this type of wristwatch, they will ask you for which market. If you tell them it's for America, they say go to Shanghai. You say it's for English market, they say go to Beijing.
Yes.
Then you say it's for Africa, they ask you which country in Africa. If you say it's Nigeria, they say go to Gonzo. And that Gonzo, the same thing you are buying for 10,000 naira. In Beijing, they are selling it for 30,000 naira. They are not the same quality, but they look alike. So they now do it. They have that standard. They tell you where you buy things. And you go and buy the whole thing. So Nigeria will have planned and say, look at it. We want to close our border. Our rice production has come up that we can feed ourselves. We cannot feed ourselves. And that is why the price is doing what? Just skyrocketing. And people are hoarding.
Okay, thank you so much. Venerable, this will be your last word now. What is your advice for government?
The last word on this topic.
Manufacturers and producing. That's right.
I'll see very much around.
For this topic, your last word for government, manufacturers and producing industries.
I want the government to monitor this policy closely. Let them see the advantages, the disadvantages as they are coming up, and as much as possible, put in measures that will help to ameliorate the sufferings of the people. Let's make good out of what the gains that this border closure is going to give. And all the companies that are down, let government see how they can support them to revive them so that they can be up and doing again. I think that support is really needed. And they should capitalize on this to really focus on agriculture and try to develop it. Because you see, we are talking about going back to agriculture and yet to really see a fantastic move in the area of mechanized farming.
The last time you were hearing so much was when additional was the minister.
So I want to see
so much,
a serious move where you take graduates from school to a farm. All of them will say, wow, I don't need government. So I think this is what I want to do. So it should not just be in talk. And maybe lastly, talking about insecurity. The insecurity have impacted so much on a Greek in Nigeria.
Yeah, because people
have been driven away from their farms.
Yes.
You are telling people go to farm. Cows are going to the farm to destroy it, and there's no justice. So that is not fair. Government need to look at all this and tackle it.
All right. Let me come to you. Your last word, your advice to the government
on this topic.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Really, what I want to say is that the government had to come out and tell, because a lot of people are seeing this as if the government want to hit at some certain tribes or certain group of people. So government should come out, educate people through the National Orientation Agency. It was talking about MANSA. That's the change to National Orientation Agency to tell people this is what we are doing. It's for our own good, and people will understand. Go to churches, go to mosque, go to public places and tell people that this is for a while, not something that is going to be forever. And people will understand. But when they keep quiet, it looks as the only thing. Government, it's not easy for them because government is paying $22 million for subsidy on petrol. And when you go to border town, if you go to Shaki, your state, I visited and I saw this man, I slept in his house, about 4 big drums of 500 liters filled up with kerosene. And in the morning when I woke up, there was no single bottle of kerosene in all.
It has
been sold overnight. So there are a lot of business going on in the border area. So when you see it, you feel for this. But now with this, I understand fuel are no more going to all these countries and things like that. So it's become a big problem for them. So Nigeria is trying to, but let them have a way of cushioning it for us, so that people will have a way.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. In everything that there is an advantage, there is always a disadvantage. All right, I have to thank you, Venerable Joseph Onuaya, JP, Director, Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria, and Chaplain to the National Assembly. Thank you so much for your thought and for coming. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Pastor John Efejika, political commentator and businessman. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
For always being there for us. God bless you, sir. Viewers, we are glad that you've been with us and to discuss this very important topic. And this is where we wrap up our program on Christians in politics. Until we come your way again, same time, same station next week, please remember to maintain a positive attitude. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.